Yo, 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 it's MIA Radio.
Yes, and we're back for another one.
And we're back and
Another
we're
one.
we're in a very special location.
Remote
Remote
vibes.
We've done some remote episodes
Right.
in our past, but I don't think we've ever done one in a particular location like this.
Yeah, we are at Ray's Cleaners.
In Coral Gables right now. We're inside the what would you call this?
It's just the fitting room.
The fitting room. We're inside a fitting room right now.
This is where you get your garments tailored. Right?
So, and I think some of you might be asking, why are we in a fitting room inside of Cleaners inside Coral Gables? Well, this is a rented space. This is a office space. This is a studio space that we acquired through Jelly Places.
Yes.
And we have a special guest today, Ruford Hammond from Jelly Places. Yes. And it's Rufus. I'm sorry, gotta call you Rufus because I've known you since I was like 6 years old.
Rutherford.
Yes.
Rutherford. We have Rutherford Hammond in the building.
Rutherford Hammond in the building.
The man, the legend.
So, if you want, kind of give a quick introduction of yourself and why are we here? Yeah. How do we get here? What is going on?
Yeah. So my name is Rutherford Hammond. I'm the co-founder of Jelly Places, and actually, this concept kind of started about 2 years ago. So it was when my wife and I had our son. And, we're very hands-on and want to be involved in our kid's life.
Right.
So, the first 120 days are very critical. So we were working remotely.
Right.
But as time kind of went on, there was always something that needed to be done in the house. So my wife would ask me to do things. And, of course, with the kid.
Right.
So it turned out that I really wasn't being productive.
Right.
So I needed to actually get work done.
Right.
So when I did that, I stepped outside of our apartment here in downtown Coral Gables, and there were limited options. Yeah. Of course, you have your go-to coffee shops, your restaurants, so on and so forth, but I didn't really feel invited.
Got it.
Okay. And I wanted to be able to have an exceptional experience, one that I was willing to pay for. To a certain point, I kind of felt homeless because I was going around and I was like, man, I need Wi-Fi. Oh, I have this special call. Oh, it's too loud. Yeah. The beans are grinding. Where am I going to go? So I started to explore around and I saw all of these inspirational spaces and places that I wouldn't mind working and meeting.
Yeah.
So, I just kind of went around and they were not accessible. So I just went up to a couple of spaces and I said, is it okay if I work here? Can I meet here?
Yeah.
And some of them, they were looking at me just dumbfounded, like
crazy.
What are you talking about? I mean, these were like showrooms that were selling, furniture for, I don't know, $50,000. And they're like
super luxe, upscale, like those you see them walking around Coral Gables, like, yo, who walks in here? Who's buying these stuff?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what the heck is going on here? I mean, it's empty.
Yeah.
But they smell good. The lighting is beautiful. They have hospitality services.
You said the smell. That's so clutch.
It's really the perfect setting when you think about it.
Yeah,
the smell. Wow, that's such I have this thing with smells. Like as a DJ, and sorry to cut you off. Like as a DJ, I believe that sound and music takes you places immediately, and smells is something else that you smell something and it's you feel comforting, you feel it triggers you. So sorry, I just wanted to throw that in.
For sure, it definitely evokes the emotions and everything is all connected.
Right.
So I said to myself, you know what, I want to work in a space outside of just a traditional office space.
Yeah.
Why not make anything accessible? If I want to work on a bench, I can do that in a park. Or if I want to work in a bathtub, who knows? Whatever it is.
Right.
So, when I kind of walked around in the environment here, I saw Ray's Cleaners and I said, man, this will be kind of cool. So this is their latest location, but there was one a block away where they kind of had stages in the front, so people can kind of sit in there, and it was very retro. And then they had the seamstress in the back. You can hear the machines kind of moving and them, making alterations. And I was like, wow, this will be an amazing space. So I connected with them and they like the concept. And the whole thing is really to, support businesses as well. And for them to tell their story with their spaces, because every space is unique. They all have their different personalities, the way that they look, the way that the architecture is, the aesthetics, the look, the feel, so on and so forth. So now you have all these spaces that tell their own story that people can get to experience.
Nice.
That's Jelly Places.
Especially here in the Gables. Like the Gables has so much history, and the Gables has so much like character. You know, these are old buildings, and everybody here that works in this area, you know, they've probably been working here for a long time. And like for you to bring a new concept to them must be really good. Or has there been any kind of like backlash, or people just kind of like, yo, are you
hesitant?
crazy?
Like,
Yeah, and you know it's so funny because you know you think of Coral Gables kind of like what you said.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of history here.
it's like prestigious in
Right.
a way.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. It's a financial district. Also, is international hub too. There's over 130 companies or countries represented here.
Wow.
You wouldn't know that. So you know you would think that they're probably not that flexible, but it's actually the opposite. They've been super supportive. When I just had literally an idea of this concept in my head, I just kind of wrote it down and I went to the vice mayor, Lago, and I told him about the concept and how I want to bring people together using existing spaces and places, because he's a big sustainable proponent. Like, he's really into that. He's kind of helped create that movement here in the Gables. So it's just kind of, was something that kind of fit within that plan.
Right.
So he's like, I love this idea. You need to do it. Go for
Nice.
it. So I was like, all right, like that's it. I'm doing it. So, then I also got support from the Coral Gables Chamber of Commerce as well. So they help the businesses here,
Dope.
With the plethora of things. And just like little by little, just like word of mouth and just the community, the people itself, they're like, we like it. We want to do it. Whatever you need, you let us know.
Yeah.
And I was just candid with people. I was like, yeah, I mean, there's things that I know, stuff I don't know, but we'll figure it out. And I want your feedback. So they're like, yeah, we're here for you.
Awesome.
And it's crazy because I'm sure some businesses probably weren't aware of like that could be even an option for them, like utilizing a space that's not being used so much. Because if you think about it, some companies or businesses have a little bit of downtime where they're either waiting or working on something that they could be using for other purposes.
Yeah, when Zaya brought up he brought your name up and the whole concept out, in my head I was already thinking, I was like, man, like there's so many different venues that could be doing, me thinking on the nightlife side of like there's venues that are only open at night, and they could be running during the day with, the venue just has to man one person to pretty much unlock the doors or make it accessible, and then they rent it out, and it's time that the venue, they might be just receiving their liquor orders, and that's the only action that they have during the day. But if you guys come in, they can monetize that during the day, like something that would never have even been an option to them. It's so crazy to me, and it's such a dope, I was telling you off the air, like it's such a dope concept. And so if you want to let us know how it start. I mean, not how it started, but like you already told us that, but like how it got off, like how you got it running, and like and then like kind of where it went from there. And
Okay, yeah. So as I was, doing the whole remote working aspect, I mean, my background is in commercial real estate. I also worked in the fragrance industry. So what I did was, I just kind of like wrote it down, and then I said, well, the first thing I need to do is get feedback from people.
yeah,
So literally I got in my car and I just drove around. Like I just walked around town, and I'll just go like almost like door to door.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this place looks cool. Let me step in here. And I would just tell them, hey, my name is Rutherford. I'm working on this project. Told them that, I went to FIU and all these things, so that way people are a little bit more receptive.
Right.
And they're like, oh, that sounds pretty interesting. Yeah, tell me more about it and send me information. So I just kind of did that. So as I started to get, some traction a little bit, I was like, oh, I might kind of be onto something here.
Yeah.
And they weren't just like, any type of company. I mean, these were like companies that like I probably wouldn't step in there, places, and they're really cool. So, I kind of did that, and like my wife helped me out tremendously. Like she's very creative, so she helped with the logo.
Nice.
And we just kind of merged our creativity and kind of doing that, and then came up with something really simple, like a one sheeter, just
Okay.
who we're about, what we're looking to do,
Right.
and that's how it kind of started. So I said, well, all right, there's one thing of having spaces available, seats, desks, offices. That's very functional.
Yeah.
People need to have an experience, and not only that, but an unlimited experience while providing versatility to the businesses themselves, right? So, my whole concept was to allow them to have, the option to determine what type of experience they want. It wasn't a one-way street, right?
Yeah,
So,
right.
like, for example, some businesses like here, I mean, you have the seamstress working right now. You also have, the person that is in the front managing the
Yeah.
business. So they have customers coming in and out, right? So, and our way is to enable them to determine when they want to allow someone to come, if they want to offer just a seat or their entire space or for an event, and by times, whenever
Got it.
they want. And they get to select who they would like to experience what they're offering.
Dope.
Yeah,
That's-
so it gives them a lot of
Options.
options and power,
Right.
to do that, because we don't want to interrupt their business.
Of course.
It's one of those scenarios that like benefits both parties.
Yeah.
Because it's not just like where the business is the workspace. It's both. It's a business that they're managing during the day, and also that customers are coming into for their business. So it's
That's what blew my mind. That's what blew my mind was they had told me like it's such a dope concept, and like and my next question is I mean, to me it's like if I have a business and you're telling me, hey, I want to make more money for you, and like you're not using this, let me use that. Was there people that were like, yo, like this guy's crazy? Like,
Yeah, no. In the beginning, people thought I was from Mars.
yeah,
They're just like, it sounds good, but see us in a few months.
yeah,
And actually, I think it's unfortunate, but like when COVID kind of came,
Mhm.
of course, I mean, it halted
Right.
activities, but I think that kind of created more awareness
right.
of being able to kind of get out of the house
To work
of-
and work remote.
Right.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I know there's a lot of people. I mean, you're probably dealing with them and interacting with them that their job wasn't remote and it's turned remote. Like the offices, there's a lot of offices that have realized, hey, we don't need all these people here, or this person can come into the office once a week or once every 2 weeks or whatever.
yeah.
Have you seen any surge from that kind of people or that kind of crowd, or like if you want to let us know how you took on COVID or like post COVID? I mean, not post COVID, but like how everything went from there on. Like I'm sorry if I'm rushing.
No,
but
no.
I'm just so like intrigued by it that like because a lot of people pivoted during COVID. A lot of people found other ways to make income or how to capitalize on certain things. But like this is an idea that, like, I mean, I just found out that I thought this was launched post COVID. I mean, until earlier today that I found out. So like, how did your business grow? Once things started to opening up, and like, how did everything kind of, like, how did it blossom post COVID, or like,
No, that's a great question. I think it took the perspective of kind of one taking COVID seriously,
Mhm.
and being quarantined just like everybody else, and trying to figure everything out
Right.
and what to do. And I think by having that additional time to kind of think through critically, where does Jelly Places fit
Yeah.
in this environment, and going forward, most importantly, I think that kind of helped us, have the moment where people were, kind of being a little bit more receptive to like, okay, like,
Sounds like a good idea.
yeah, it sounds like a good idea. Being in quarantine is good, but
this guy's not crazy.
yeah, it's not crazy. And you know what? I'm having cabin fever. I actually need to get out.
Right.
So with that, like after like 6 months, things started to open up a little bit. I started to see around town, like restaurants were starting to
Yeah.
open, race cleaners and many other companies, and people starting to like walk around, get out, wearing masks, all these things. And it's like, oh, there's movement now.
Yeah.
I think it's a good time to kind of like continue to like push forward. And to be quite honest, I just got a lot of support from the community. Like my
Nice.
neighbors,
Nice.
they're like, Rutherford, yeah, it's COVID, but you need to do this. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, just go for it. You got to do it. And
awesome.
like
Leap of faith, man. That's it.
yeah,
man.
and the mayor, and then like other people, other business leaders around, and small businesses all around it. You know, they're just saying, like, yeah, you just got to do it. So I said, you know what? That's it. I'm going for it.
Let's do it. Yeah, man. You
And
can't.
because of that, I mean, like even with like your group, with Hector,
Mm-hmm.
the local news station, and the other groups, just kind of help tell the story
Yeah.
of just this, you know, concept. But you know, it's really about the people and the businesses and enabling people to have a great experience. Literally, that's all we want to do.
Nice.
I think that's the difference between something like a WeWork versus like what you guys have going, where it's like more of the each side helping each side,
Yeah.
and more the story,
it's
more
a,
the
it's a
experience.
it's a double-sided coin, because like, you know, WeWork is obviously like a big generic corporation and everything, whatever, but like you're helping, especially now, you know, small businesses that, you know, are definitely like about it, you know, like they're definitely like, oh wow, this like, so you're telling me like I can make money, like this is a source of income for businesses that would have never thought of this, and then you're giving people a new platform or a new base for them to create. And like, you know, like, well, I walked in here and I thought it was so dope, like, you know, even like something as simple as looking at like the dresses and like everything that's here, like that's inspirational, you know, to us, like his
Yeah.
background.
When I saw his background, I was like, oh, this
Super
is
dope.
perfect.
Like, yeah, like and we're always finding inspirations through different things and whatnot, and like just seeing like being in this environment just makes your brain kind of like trigger.
Yeah, and
you
just
know?
like people, like he said earlier, like some people that like are innovate in times of doubt or crisis. They're like, yo, you know what, we could shift it and do this. Like
Yeah.
that's inspiring too. Like just seeing someone think of, okay, maybe things are not great right now, but we can turn it into like a positive.
Yeah,
So I mean, that's awesome too.
Yeah, and also, you know, this experience so far, I mean, it's just getting started, but, you know, I was thinking about it. Like, I was able to create a great relationship with the businesses, the owners, the managers and stuff like that, and also see the impact with my own eyes, like firsthand. Like,
Yeah.
that's super cool. You know, like, I know the seamstress here.
nice.
And it's awesome.
Yeah.
Not only that, but the office manager, like Susan, I know her on a
Yeah.
first name basis. You know, and also the owner,
Yeah.
you know, Vivian. So it's really cool to know, like, you know, what they're doing and how you can also help them.
Yeah.
You know, so that's one thing that I enjoyed a lot, is that, okay, I understand like some of the struggles, which, you know, everyone is having, you know, those impacts right now,
Yeah.
but also helping tell their story, you know. So sometimes, you know, people don't think of it that way, but that's something that like I enjoy, and that's part of my core values as a person, is helping people.
Same,
So
That's awesome.
That's awesome. That's super dope. And I mean, you're building connections with these people, and it's literally like a give situation where, like, you know, you're giving your time and they're giving their space, and like everybody's taking care of each other, and it's you know, it's amazing.
It's what the world needs more of right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
Community.
that's
Yeah,
what
right.
we're looking to do, bring
So-
it together.
Let me ask you real quick, because I saw that you were featured on the news. How did that come about? And then like, how did that loss, or like what was the reaction from that, or like if you want to let us know, like how that
Yeah.
went?
No, it's like a coincidence. I mean, so my family, we're living just a couple blocks away from here, and along Giralda, it's a pedestrian only street.
Yeah.
So they have all the restaurants and all that stuff. So I'm out walking the dog, and I'm going home, and all I see is just the news station is kind of set up.
Yeah.
So I was curious, like, what was going on. So I went up to the reporter and I asked, what's happening here? And she told me, well, you know, we're kind of covering, COVID-19 and everything that's going on and what the restaurants are experiencing.
You're like, boom.
Yeah,
You're
so
like,
on and
You
so
gave
forth.
her a story.
You're
Yeah.
like, damn. You're like, I got something for you. I got something for you.
Exactly. So I said, have you heard of jelly places?
Hey.
And she's like,
Perfect.
what?
Right.
I was like, what do you mean you haven't heard of jelly places? It's the next best
Yeah.
thing.
You're like, come on, you
Yeah.
late. You late, fam.
And then I told her, I told her about the whole concept.
Yeah.
I was like, actually, did you know this? You can go to dry cleaners and work and meet, or you can have an event. She's like, the dry cleaners? It's like, yeah, it's only 2 blocks away. It's Ray's Cleaners.
Yeah.
They've been in business for over like 30 years, third generation, so on and so forth. She's like, what? That's fantastic. And it happens that, they were kind of covering the industry of, the laundry industry and cleaners and so on, and about, the challenges that they had, and the industry was down like by over 70%. So she said, this is great.
Yeah.
I love this. She's like, I'll give you a call in 2 days, but it's a thing that it'll be on call. Like if I call you, you got to show up
ready.
in an hour.
You gotta be ready.
I was like, listen, you call me, I'm there.
Yeah. It's and it's crazy. Like, so I've had this thing where we're DJs. We make a living off of DJing forever, and I've done a few gigs, and I've done I did the anniversary to this brewery, and it was beginning of August. Things were slowly opening up, whatever. But when I was DJing, I got this like reaction from people when they would see me, and they were like they're like surprised. They're like, oh my god, like kind of this mentality of like, I forgot DJs existed during quarantine. Like, damn, what's that guy been up to his last 6 months? Like it was this kind of like, and I saw it because I can read people, and they were like they were looking at me like, oh my god, like DJs, I forgot about that. Like when you first went out, like, and one thing that I had heard was that like that dry cleaners were affected, and you don't think of that. Like normal people don't think, oh, what are DJs up to today? And like normal people didn't think of like, yo, if you're not going out, you're not getting your clothes dry clean. Like it took like businesses like this took such an impact. So for you to have like the combo breaker and be like, you know what, like let's make it more like let's work on something. It's so crazy. Like it's such a dope like mentality to have, and like to move forward. And when I saw it, and I know I keep like tooting your home, but it's such a dope concept to me, and I'm like, damn, like it's so dope. So what other businesses have been kind of like, have people approached you, or have you approached other businesses?
What's the most interesting one?
Exactly, yeah. Like,
I mean, this is pretty interesting, but
yeah. I mean, I'll say, Ray's Cleaners, really interesting, great company, great family. I mean, they have a great reputation, with excellent service throughout Miami. But yeah, I mean, there's been a couple of others. We have some restaurants, Threefold Cafe, #1 breakfast spot in Coral Gables.
I just tried it on Sunday. I can concur.
You can attest.
Yeah.
It's that fire, huh?
Yeah, their toast with avocado is the best.
Man.
That's what I had.
Oof.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we have them. Also, Granny Nannies is a home health care service platform. So they help the elderly out. So that's pretty cool. And then one that is really cool is the police department.
Oh, wow. That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, damn. Yeah.
You can expand on that a little bit, because we talked about it, but we didn't go in depth. I kind of want to know how that works.
So yeah, how did that come across, and like and I mean, are you like in a cell? Can you?
Wow, that's a good idea.
I'm not even kidding. Like
scared straight, but also like work.
Can you get like your own cell? Like, you're
I just want to be confined and
exactly.
get
nobody
shit
comes
done.
to talk to you, like like in the evidence room. I don't know. So how does the police? Damn, that's so crazy. Because I remember he mentioned it, but I completely had like slipped my mind.
Yeah, no, it's real, and it's gonna be happening the beginning of the year, 2021. Nice. They're moving to a new office building just a couple of blocks away. But it came about, which was really interesting, was so like last year I was at the barbershop, just small talk, and an officer happened to be there, and he was just talking about the different hardships and challenges that police officers have to deal with that people don't really think about. I mean, from, not just from the crimes and stuff like that, but, they have to deal with depression because they're always working by themselves for the most part.
Yeah.
Okay. Also their health, their eating habits, just like all these things.
Being on the clock and everything. Like,
yeah, so all these things just kind of culminate and it's just like bad, right? And then he said, actually, they start to become more healthy after they retire. Like they lose weight, you know, they don't have diabetes anymore, just like all these things. And I was just like, wow, that's so interesting. Why did it take me over 30 years to have this type of conversation and insight from a police officer?
Yeah.
I was like, nope, that's it. People should know about this or have the opportunity to engage with police officers.
Especially now.
Yeah.
It's a good time
Like-
to understand each other.
Exactly, like now. Like, I mean, it shouldn't be, you know, the bad experience or whatever. And I was thinking, I was like, okay, what would be cool for someone to want to know about cops or develop a relationship with them? I was like, ride along. I was like, that would be fun. I would enjoy that.
Right.
Like what it's like to be a cop
Facts.
and connect with them, you know, like you're learning about who they are, what they do, and they get to learn about you as well, like on the job. I mean, there's no better way to have an experience of that.
That's so crazy. So that's a package.
Yeah, so it's going to be a ride-along experience that you can book through Jelly Places
Uh-huh.
with a police officer
Wow.
through the platform.
So you're obviously not getting any work done.
That's awesome, though.
No, it's insane. It's so
Yeah.
Making it accessible, because before I think you'd have to kind of know someone, right? Or like
Yeah.
your parents would be like, you know what, you're gonna go on a ride along so you
Yeah.
understand what it's really like, or something like that. But
That's so
now
wild to me. Like
you can book it.
Zaya mentioned that. I mean, we're gonna book it. Like,
Yeah,
we're gonna
exactly.
fucking book it. Like
We want to know.
Or was a thing like
January 21st, we're gonna book it. Like, you know, on like a rowdy day, you know, like
Might be
Yeah.
busy.
hey,
yeah, Kevin Hart, this is not a movie. It's reality.
That's so crazy. Like, wow. So it's gonna be just literally right along. Like,
Literally right along. So, I mean, we're not going to disrupt the process that they have in place, but you can still have the same user experience through Jelly Places. You know, when you create an account, you find that it's available for
Right.
when you would like to do it. And then you'll be, you know, engaged, you know, with someone on the police department side.
right.
And I mean, they absolutely love it. I mean, Officer Kelly Denham, I mean, she has been a big supporter of it. She's involved in public, public and community outreach.
Right.
And that was one of her things, was to kind of merge the gap and have, you know, the community engage
Yeah.
and develop relationships, you know, with police officers. And so the ride along thing has been around forever, but no one really thought about just making it easy and
Right.
fun and
Yeah.
accessible. It's
Being
not
the middleman. That's so crazy.
yeah,
It's
so it's not
crazy
like
to
the
me.
little kid that's in elementary school, right, learning about cops, or someone signing up to be
Yeah.
a cop.
I didn't think of it from that perspective. Like
Yeah.
someone like, I kind of want to see what this is about
Yeah.
before
Like,
I join.
before you jump the gun. I don't know. To me, it's just like a crazy experience.
And
like, you know.
let me ask you a
I'm
question.
trying to go get the free food. You know? I'm trying to go to
Donuts,
Versailles. I'm
coffee.
trying to go to.
Is it kind of like, when using the platform, is it like an Uber system where like you have a star rating and maybe the person, the company or the cop or whatever the case may be is like, I don't think I want to book that person because they've had previous bad experience with maybe another spot where they were, I don't know, you know, is there going to be some sort of buffer, or it's just
Yeah, there'll definitely be a rating system for sure for the spaces and places, and also like the ride along experience. I mean, the ride along experience, it won't go down into like details or granularity of actual officers, right?
Yeah.
right?
Initially. I mean, it'll just probably be, the Coral Gables Police Department and what the experience was. But yeah, there'll definitely be ratings, which is good. So it's transparent, so people know exactly, what their experience, was. So that way, people can conduct themselves accordingly. But yeah, things will be transparent and flow pretty well.
That's awesome.
Dope.
So,
Dope.
Since you have a background in commercial real estate, I was wondering, you think that's like what the future of business and companies with remote working, do you think that's going to affect like commercial buildings or the way owners or companies might look when purchasing or leasing a business, or like now they might be looking at, all right, how can we utilize our space instead of just being operating in what we do, but using it for other things.
No, I definitely do. I mean, because our world is is transforming, every single day. So, being a one trick pony is kind of, fading, I think.
Outdated, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, real estate is changing, so much. I mean, you have spaces that are converting, from garages to kitchens and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
So I think for sure, companies and businesses are being a lot more thoughtful and mindful, for the things that they're doing, not only for their business, but also for the future and how they use spaces.
Yeah. I think that mentality of like, we only do one thing is kind of fading, and companies are starting to see like, okay, well, if we have a name in cars, maybe we, like I saw Tesla just came out with a tequila.
Yeah.
Like, they're constantly innovating on like, okay, if we could sell cars, maybe people will buy something else. So since we're known,
keeping the brand going.
But yeah, man, this is awesome. Just being in this.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's amazing. Where do you see Jelly Places going, or like what's next? Is there like a venue that you would like want to conquer, or like is there anything that you're like, I mean, that you can share in the sense of like, where do you see you guys going? Like,
yeah,
I mean, the car ride, I don't know if you can top that, but I'm saying like, is there anything that, or any ideas that you want, or people that you want to approach, or you want to break it down?
Yeah, I mean, my whole thing is just kind of going step by step.
Yeah.
From now until like the first quarter of next year, it's just kind of support, the local businesses here and the partners that are, on board. And of course, people who want to experience Jelly Places. Yeah. I mean, because, I just want to be able to learn and make improvements and get people involved, from the community more so than anything. And just kind of work out all the kinks and kind of work through something that people, would like and enjoy to use. And then just expand, so kind of going to South Florida, covering that. And then, eventually covering the U.S. and taking it worldwide. But right now it's just kind of, taking those steps and just focusing here locally in the beautiful city of Miami.
Is there any venue in particular, or something like that? Like I want to do like Live, or I want to do like, I don't know. Like,
no, you know what? my whole thing was allowing people to determine what they want to experience, because it's a marketplace.
Got it. Yeah.
So it's not really up to me; it's up to the people.
Got it. Yeah.
So my whole thing would be, if someone has a space that they would like for people to experience, listed on Jelly Places.
Got it.
Like literally that's my dream and goal, is for people to have accessibility to space that people would like to offer others.
Got it.
And it can be unconventional. Like that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
So it's not like Airbnb or WeWork or anything like that. Actually, anything, any space, anything that can be booked is available.
Got it.
Like for me, that's the best, because now people have options.
Yeah.
I like options, and I would like other people to have options, not
That's
just the
so
spaces,
dope. Yeah.
but also prices, whether it's free, whether it's paid, you name it. Like you have an option.
Yeah, you that's amazing. Like to have an idea and a concept, and then put the platform for everybody else to pick up on that mentality of like, all right, well, we're gonna do this. Somebody else can come up and be like, hey, why don't we do this? Pizza place.
And the best part is that it encourages like community, and then like you said, you're over here, set up with your desk, and then we're over here doing a podcast, and then who knows who walks in to pick up their shirt, and then you connect, and then it just leads to more and more opportunities. So I think that's the dope part about it.
It's so good. Like I think it's such a dope concept, and like it's triggering, as in like like Zaya just said, like when people walk in, hey, what's going on? Hey, what's this? And then when people find out about it, and it's just it'll spread like wildfire, in the sense of like, all right, like I said, there's so many people. I know people that have been cut off for going into the office. they're tired of like dealing with their kids, you know, and like I mentioned the concept, and I'm like, wait, what? Dry cleaners, you know, but it's you know, they come back around, you know, people are like, oh, you know, that is, you know.
And it's cool because like imagine you're setting up a meeting, you're like, yeah, meet me at the dry cleaner. It's like it's more memorable and more unique than, hey, meet me at this office building.
I think I'm super like sprung by this just because like I'm a huge fan of like the speakeasy concept. So like I think that some people might be like, yo, well, I mean, is there like something in the back? You know, you feel me? Like that you're in a dry cleaner, so people are like, wait, is there a bar in the back? Or like, is there something that I'm missing? Like it kind of intrigues people into that, and then you can, you know, even later, like that's, you know, there could be a bar that, you know, has like a speakeasy in the front, and it's like a WeWork, and then in the back it's happy hour, you know, like after 5 o'clock, but people walk into that, you know, so it's. I'm just thinking of your name, you know? But
endless possibility.
Yeah. I mean, when I sign up for Jelly Bean and I mean Jelly Places, I kept thinking in my way here, I'm like, I'm not gonna call it Jelly Bean Places, and I just did. But
how would someone sign up for Jelly Places? How's it gonna work? It's gonna be an app, right?
Yeah, so it's a web application. Just wanted to make it very simple,
right?
Where, you know, people don't necessarily have to download an app, because me personally, I only have a couple of apps on my phone anyway. Yeah, they just go to the website and and sign up. So it's pretty straightforward. And then after that, you know, they can just kind of, you know, see what they're looking to experience and what works for them, depending on their schedule.
Right.
And book it. So it's pretty much done, you know, automatically.
Dope. And where can people find you? Do you have an Instagram? What's the best?
Yeah, I mean, I'm available on Instagram, Jelly Places.
Okay.
That's the handle. Also a website. Also by cell 305-450-7418.
Yeah, if they want to meet. If they want to meet in person, they can come to your office at Ray's Cleaner.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm a little like old school. Sometimes, you know, it's better when you just pick up the phone and call people.
I like that. You're probably the first guest to ever plug their cell phone.
Exactly. Say it one more time.
305-450-7418.
That's awesome. We're gonna put it on the screen right here.
I like that. Right. Like blinking. That's the ad right there. You see it?
Awesome, man.
That's dope.
Well, yo, we appreciate your time.
Seriously, thank you.
We appreciate the space. We're definitely going to be doing more of these in different locations, I think. It was a really cool experience.
No, 'cause, we can definitely line something up with another guest and, you know, get a Jelly Place with another guest and do it remote.
Yeah, and absolutely. No, I want to thank you guys so much for this opportunity.
I can already think of a couple of Jelly Places. A friend, Trail.
Right? Yo, we're gonna have. I think we're gonna rent out the cell, and we're gonna have a guest, and I'll tell him, and then have him walk into the cell, and then lock him up. It'll be a great episode.
All right. Well, it's MIA Radio. We're out of here.
Peace.